After 3 years, I finally have a full harvest of Meyer Lemons. You don't know how excited this makes me to finally have plants that are producing Meyer Lemons. I bought these lemons starting in 2020 when everybody else was home, and I thought, hey, I want to add something different. So I added these Meyer Lemons to my collection. All of these fruit plants I got online. This is a Meyer Lemon that I got online, and this Meyer Lemon was the smallest that I got online. And these two lemons were purchased, and these are all from fastgrowingtrees.com, just where I happened to get them. And because I live in the South, most of them actually were shipped pretty close to me because they're located in South Carolina. And then this is my Haas avocado that I got from them. This is the second one I've had. The first one that they sent me actually died about a year later. They replaced it because I had the warranty, and they sent me an even bigger one and a nicer one, and this one has been way better. It lost all its leaves when I got it, but all the leaves have come back and it's just doing well. So, what finally is exciting me is that I have Meyer Lemons, which are a hybrid lemon, which is easier to grow. They do need full sun and about 30 to 60% humidity and about 65 to 85 degrees to grow. In the summer, I did keep it up on the porch under the shade so that the sun wouldn't just dry it out so fast, but it still had plenty of sun and mostly sun and heat on it all summer. And it finally started to grow some lemons. These are plastic containers and they work pretty well. I did get them all matching. Because you have to move them so much, it's nice to have containers that are not very heavy. I know the terracotta ones are nice for watering. It's just when they get so big like this, they're just too heavy to bring in and out. Especially in the fall and the spring, I'll bring it out during the day for a few days to let it start getting used to the sun, and then I'll take it back in at night. So when you're bringing it back and forth, it's nice to have a pot that's not too heavy. This summer I did water them pretty frequently. There would be some times where I would forget to water and they would dry out. But because I watered it so much, I had to use a lot of fertilizer. So I did use citrus tone, and I would throw it on there about every 6 or 7 weeks. And I would give it a big water once a week to fill it all the way at the top, and then you could see it starting to come out at the bottom. And so that way I knew water had gone all the way from the top to the bottom. If you just water the top, the roots will stay at the top. But if you let the water go all the way through the bottom, the roots will keep going down to the bottom of the pot. I did learn that if you don't water it, it will start to flower because the drought will cause stress. And for some reason that makes it flower. But those flowers all fall off and they don't actually do anything to grow. In the spring, after they were inside, because they're self-pollinating, I kind of just left them. I left them close to each other, but being inside, there's nothing to pollinate them. So this year I finally got a paintbrush and I went through and I pollinated every single flower. And if you do it when it's nice and sticky, it was pretty easy. And then I would take a paintbrush and go from flower to flower to flower. And then within 10 days, I had lemons growing. They weren't all very big. They were kind of small like this one here. So I lost maybe half of them. But I'm still left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm left with about 10 lemons here that are getting really close. This one probably needs to get moved. Thorn on this plant is poking into this lemon. So I might have to come back and replace some of these lemons so that they're not poking each other, but they're finally turning yellow. 2 years ago, I did have one lemon that made it, and it took about 9 months for it to turn into a lemon. And these started in about March, so it's September now. So it's taken quite a while for them to turn into lemons. But what I've been told and what I've read is the lemons don't go bad necessarily when they're on the plant. So even if they all turn yellow about the same time, I can leave them on there and then just use them as I need them. I wish I had enough lemons to make lemonade, but then I'd get a days of enjoyment out of the whole summer of growing them. But that's okay. And then this lime tree has its first lime that I've ever had right here. So that's my first lime. And it looks like there's another little lime growing here and here. So hopefully these two will keep growing. I just gave them a big water today, so they're nice and watered. And then this is my other lime, and this one is all growing new growth from the bottom. So I had this plant last year, and all this new growth is from this year. Probably still trimmed just to clean it up because I can trim it into more of a tree look like that one, or this one here, which is turning into like a bush, which is fine if it'll produce. So I've had all these plants for about 2 years. I'm not sure exactly how old they were when they were sent to me, but I know it takes a few years for them to start to produce. So obviously this one is producing and this lime is producing. So hopefully these will start producing soon. They have all flowered. Every single plant has flowered, but they haven't all produced yet. But that was the only one I was able to catch and pollinate by hand. So I'll pollinate all the rest of them this year, and hopefully next year get an even better harvest. My avocado, I have never had an avocado flower, but I only got this year. I did take them inside this last winter, and then I brought them out when it warmed up. When it gets about 50 degrees, I take them inside and put them in a south-facing window so that they'll get some sun. I did lose lots of leaves when I took them in for the summer, but as you can see, all the leaves grew back, so I don't have to worry about that when I start losing a bunch of leaves. Just going into a new area, new temperature, new humidity makes it drop a lot of leaves. But as long as it's staying green, it seemed to produce new leaves, and they all came back, and I haven't had any problems. I have added a little bit of iron this summer just to try to bring back some of the green. I've had a few leaves turn yellow, not too much, but I'm still getting new growth, a lot of new growth on all of my plants. So what I learned this year was to keep it out of the direct sun. I know it likes sun, but having a little bit of shade cover over it, especially on the sunny days, because I get all my sun back here, help the pots not dry out and help the leaves not dry out and the water stay a little bit longer. And to hand pollinate them, because that was the key this year. I just relied on the bees, and during the summer there were bees flying around and hummingbirds. I had hummingbirds that would fly, and that was really cool. But when they're inside, I have to hand pollinate them with a brush, because if I don't hand pollinate them, nothing will happen. And then when the leaves fall off, not to worry too much. And now I'm pretty excited because next year we're going to have a lot of lemons. So those are some of the things I've learned that'll help you, hopefully. Just kind of wait. It's kind of frustrating when you're hoping that they'll produce lemons right away and they don't. But it's one of those plants that if you just wait and then keep trying to learn and do the right things, it'll help them produce. So good luck, and thanks for watching.